All right, it is now time for raising funds for World Domination, day number 271. So for the daily update today, there is no update on the presumed appeal. No communications from any courts. No case numbers. Oh yeah, I said I think the other day that I went to a clinic to see about getting an appointment to get that bump on my face taken off, and I originally thought I might be able to get it at the clinic, because at the clinic I went to, it said that they will do that kind of thing, but when I went there, they're like they didn't even know that was on their website. And they said they'll get back to me and put me in the referral system. And then I asked the guy approximately how long it would take. Be like, could be months stuff. And I got back they set me up for an appointment 10 months in the future. So it's going to take 10 months just to get a bump on my face looked at. All right. In the Shopify store, there are 4 new block types available for purchase. And today I continued working on the next long form video. So I finished filming a few different scenes. I think for the intro, there's a couple difficult kind of intricate scenes to film for the intro. So I got another one of those done today. I think it's only one more of those that I have to do, and then there's a couple extra things I'm going to add to the script, and then that'll be basically all the content. There's a lot of details and analysis and diagrams and stuff, and I think most of that is finished. So hopefully within a week I'll be approaching 100% done. Okay. All right, let's continue with the terminal block mining simulation game. So last stream, I finished, I think it was last stream that I fixed a bug with closing frames. And then I also started the initial work on a new frame that will this frame here will be to support opening a new connection to a new world. So you can have the eventual vision you'll be able to connect to multiple different worlds at the same time. next streaming until I get $X when. I don't know. I guess I should probably finish my 365. I should probably go at least until day 365. See what I'm at now. 29. So 30 plus. I guess that's about 100 days. So three months. 3 months from now would be that would put it at the 1 year mark. Joe Seki says, evening. How's it going? Okay, that should change it. So the frame I'm working on right now will open by default. Goes the project. It depends which project you mean. So the video that I'm working on, I went out today. I just did some filming for it. I think I finished up most of the scenes for the intro. There's one more I gotta film, and then there's a bit of scripting to do. Then I have to obviously record that. As for the terminal block mining simulation game, so the major arc of development I'm working on is multiplayer, and the arc of development involves, I'm going to add two new frames. So I just finished work on making like a generic input form that I can use, so I can actually select buttons and stuff and type things. So this is going to be the open world connection dialog. This is almost like a kind of borderline like debug panes, but eventually I'll maybe work it into more, a more professional interface. So first off, I'm going to have a way to connect to a new world, and then I'm going to add the ability to so there'll be a concept of a world connection object and then a authorized world connection object. So the world connection is just to like either the local or network connection, and then the authorized world connection will be what actually has like the player's ID number or whatever in it. So eventually, right now I'm just going to hard code. I'll probably just make it so you can like specify what your player ID is. So 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whatever. And then eventually that ID number will be some large number that's assigned to you by like a login server, if I ever actually get around to implementing like a production multiplayer. Okay, that does what I want. Why did I not commit? I guess not. I don't know who you are, but you are my FYP, so I must say hi. How's it going? So I guess the intro to what I'm doing here. So I'm working on a terminal-based video game. As you can see here, it's a video game that runs purely in the Linux terminal, and you wander around an infinite procedurally generated universe, and you spam the M key to mine blocks, and they show up in your inventory down here. And the current arc of development I'm working on right now is I'm working on a new I want to add multiplayer, and I'm currently adding a feature that will allow you to connect to other worlds. So it's a work in progress here. So the next thing I need to add is probably list the existing connections. Add multiplayer fight mode. I could once I have some actual start to it. It shouldn't be too difficult. Didn't understand that, but okay. Thank you very much for the $2, even though you're not fully versed on what this even is. All right. Taking shape. I mean the menu. Yeah, there's it's been a long road to actually make graphics and stuff like windows and menus, but I'm actually getting a bit of a UI going now. Let me think here. Oh yeah, should change. What are your feelings about getting annexed by the U.S.? Oh yeah, that's a whole thing. The rhetoric on that has been amped up. I think what's actually happening. I mean, maybe it'll be proven wrong, but I think what's actually happening is there's a lot of a lot of countries have been don't really have a strong national identity anymore. I think a lot of his rhetoric is mostly just around if you guys don't assert your territorial sovereignty, then someone else will, and if you don't, then we'll go in and take it over. Because the alternative is some other country, China or Russia or who knows where, will start making inroads. And I think in Venezuela, they captured the leader and but they didn't replace the government. And I've heard there's some U.S. officials that are meeting with the government down there and stuff. So it almost seems like it's this is all kind of agreed to behind closed doors, and we're not important enough to really be filled on what the details are. We're just pawns on the chessboard. But I don't know. I mean, I saw a thing today that said the U.S. was, or the military, for the first time in 100 years, did an analysis on what would it, if the U.S. actually decided to try and invade us with military force, what would that look like? And from my understanding of things, it would be pretty asymmetric. Within probably the first day, they could probably take control of most of the cities. We don't really have, if we needed military assistance, our whole strategy is just call the U.S. We do have some, we have some resource, a tiny number of resources, but I think our entire military strategy involves relying on the U.S. I think Trump was showing a map with Greenland and Canada included as part of the U.S. Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, if we don't assert our own sovereignty, then someone else will. So maybe this will get a few more people to take pride in their country. I mean, Trudeau called us we're the first post-national state, which, I don't know, that doesn't sound much like that sounds like we're just begging to be taken over. If I were Canadian, I'd be mad about it, but I'm mad that we're not worth the trouble of being annexed. Yeah, I don't. It's I mean, we could be mad at it. the thing that would be better than being mad is to be so powerful that we could, project our own military or economic force, but we're not. We don't seem to make any attempt to be. So now that's all we could do. We could just huff and puff and be mad. I mean, like, how dare you take over our country? That is so rude. American, I'm furious about it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the ideal thing would be we could just be super strong. We could have our own military, but we just neglect. Like, every time I look up at anyone who has tried to join the Canadian military, it takes like they apply like 4 times and then they close the application, and it's extremely hard to get in, and it takes, by the time they actually respond to it, the person has moved on with life. And like, they won't build any housing for them or something. So we will have like substandard housing, which, I don't know. I mean, I don't even understand how that could work. Because couldn't you just use like some of the early recruits to build some housing? Like, you literally have a bunch of military age men. Why don't you just conscript them into like cut down some saw logs and make some housing? But nope. Let's try that. Actually, no, that won't compile. WebSockets. How's it going? Game Dev Chad. I haven't seen you in the chat in a while. You never call, never write. Always making content, but no posts. It's a lot of work. What are you making? Which text editor is that? I'm making a terminal-based video game where you can simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore and other minerals in an infinite, procedurally generated universe. How you been? How's revenue? Revenue is it's down overall. I guess it's because I haven't the videos I've been putting out haven't had as many views recently, but I don't know. It's still I guess it's been hovering just under $1,000 a month or so over the last few months. I think in November it jumped up like to 2,600 for some reason. I don't know. There's just something in the algorithm that makes it go up and down. Giordani says, hello there. How's it going? Tomorrow I have class. Awesome. Sounds pretty fun. Yep, sure is. I like that. WebSockets, so there could be web clients. Yes. I actually have, well, technically it's actually public now. It's in the repo. There is, it's one of the first things I made. It's just, it's not a real client, but it's just like a prototype JavaScript client that connects to it. And you can move around X, Y, Z, but you can't do much more than that. Big Burger Johnson. Burger. I'm not sure who that is. Big Burger Johnson. Would you add Battle Royale? There's lots of things I could add eventually with enough development time, but it's I need to deliver more features before I promise more. Once some of the actual networking client server stuff works and has been demonstrated to work a bit more, then I can start incrementally adding more new features on top of that. I guess I'm still at the point where I'm just adding systems to the game. I do feel about asking for likes and subscribes. Seems to work. Hate it myself, but it works. I've assumed that if you ask for likes, YouTube, I think if you ask to subscribe, YouTube knows that you're doing that, and they I don't know if you've noticed, but I think they have a video, like a YouTube creators update video, where they specifically point this out, where if you ask the audience to subscribe, it like flashes. There's like, it knows that timestamp in the video, so it's like it puts like a colored thing around the subscribe button. So that implies like YouTube is deeply analyzing what's in the video, and it knows when you ask for likes and subscribes and stuff. And so I would assume that whatever signal YouTube is looking for in videos is probably, like, if I ask people to like, and then they do like the video, that's probably irrelevant. But if people organically like the video, that's probably worth way more. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, I kind of assumed that they were doing it, but this is like old news. Like, I'm pretty sure that, I mean, even doing streaming and like talking to other people and stuff, I think the level of like deep analysis and also like real-time awareness, like I wouldn't even be surprised. I would assume there's someone, like there are people probably who have like a real-time awareness. Like if you talk about something sketchy, then you will immediately be flagged, and then some like moderator somewhere can probably like instantly see a list of all live streams that have like inappropriate stuff on them, or like within like real-time analysis. I guess it's probably the government has probably pressured them after there's been high-profile incidents of people live streaming bad stuff. So the government's like, nope, we can't have that. We need to force you to build this panopticon. As people that love each other, maybe that will promote your content. Maybe. All right, everyone. If you like this video, make sure to love and cherish one another, and have a long, long life, and be very happy, and be nice to animals. And then like and subscribe to this video. Everyone's annoying and miserable. Yeah, there are a lot more miserable people in the world these days. People are stressed out about everything. Now we're at 15. Yep, 15 or 16. Love is a state of being. It's more of caring and being nice to each other. I don't know, the philosophy of love, that's a complicated topic. That's above my pay grade. My software engineering degree has not imbued me with the knowledge to speak authoritatively on this topic. And this is so much easier in HTML. Maybe I'll have to make an XML templater for my, I probably could do that. I do actually have I could have a markup based. I could write the views in markup, or like HTML, and then render them. And I'd end up re-implementing a web browser. Since syntax highlighting is rather subtle and looks retro, I think it's the default that's in Vim. The default Vim and Ubuntu syntax highlighting. What projects did build when you were starting into programming? I don't know. I guess depends on how far into. I started when I was around 14, and then I just wrote like QBasic programs and stuff. In the earliest days, I didn't even know. Like I had to learn everything on my own, so I didn't even know like how to run compilers and things. Like I started to really get momentum when, I first started off, like I knew that C++ existed, so I downloaded some C++ compiler, and I think I downloaded like a Delphi compiler, but it was in, it was like a DOS program, so I would run it, and then it would just like, it would flash on screen and I wouldn't see anything, and I didn't know at the time that I had to open, like if I opened a command prompt in Windows and then like cd to that directory and ran it from there, then I would actually see some actual output, and I could probably would have been able to compile it, but I didn't know at the time, so I was just like, I guess it doesn't work. And eventually I got my hands on Visual Basic 6 which was an actual visual IDE for developing. And then I think I found some like open source games, and I downloaded the source code to the games and started playing around with them. That was my intro to programming. And then over the years, I don't know, built all sorts of other stuff. Lots of projects during university. All right, hostname, port. Must be must have misnamed something. That's it. Port IP. Eight. Would you add a system to build things? Like a house or crafting table? A system for building already exists. So you can press the P key to place blocks that are in your inventory. You select them first, and then you can press P to place them. And for crafting, there's already a crafting menu. So I just have to add a block that represents a crafting table, and then add a rule to craft that thing. So that would be that's doable. URL. Maybe that crafting table gives you the ability to craft more items. Yeah, that's definitely possible. I haven't really thought much about that. I guess it'd be easy to make up, things and rules and stuff like that. But for now, I've just been focused on getting the at least the multiplayer infrastructure there, because that is going to make to fully implement that. Well, to implement the basics of it, I'm gonna have to make some massive changes to like how the game ticks forward and how it processes events. So I kind of don't even want to do much work on those features, because I'm gonna have to re-engineer them once I get it working robustly in a multiplayer way. How was the market like for terminal games? It's a good question. I think it's a small market, but I should be able to monopolize it. And I guess the other thing is, well, I'm also thinking in this whole age of like vibe coding and stuff, it may be like if the putting like a visual representation on top of like if the game model itself is simple and rule based, like if it's just everything is a matrix of blocks. I think at any time the ability to convert it, use like AI to just, for example, take all the block assets. Like I was even thinking, it might even be an interesting feature to add a feature to the game itself. That, like, so you can put in like your ChatGPT API key, and then within the game, you could change like textures in the game. You could just type your prompt into the game. Say like, I want to make a new block that represents this thing, and then you could just use AI to make a visual representation of that block. And then it's like immediately in the game. It's not what people are doing. It's not what people are doing. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Okay, port, and then URL. All right, let's try that. It's not the fashionable thing, I mean, which is maybe a good strategy. Yeah, I think for any kind of game, like indie games is an exceptionally saturated market. And I think any like a marketing strategy, I think almost needs to be central. And having a game that's in a unique, very highly unique category, I think is good. Although I have to admit, I didn't expect that I'd get more sales by now. But then again, the live streams seem to be mainly about like the it's only the regular viewers that come into the live streams. So I think if I started making more like shorts and long form content, that actually is probably a viable thing to do. Now that I have enough like systems and stuff, and I could just start making like shorts videos, like talking about how I build certain things in the game. Because the other aspect of it is I want to talk about like teaching programming and stuff, and having the process of building a game and the technical challenges that are faced, and how the terminal works, and event processing and concurrency and all these kinds of problems. I could just make shorts about that with respect to the game, because I've only made a couple shorts about this game so far, and they don't get a lot of views, but they are like, they're some of the top videos of the channel, like top 30 videos of the channel, and the comparatively the amount of effort I put into them is a bit small. Do you believe in game design documents in solo projects? I've never even heard of the concept of game. I can understand why people would make any kind of design documents or intentions and stuff, but I think it could make sense. Probably depends on on the goals of the project, and like if you're going in a more strict business sense, some like a formal document probably makes a bit more sense in especially when you have a large project. Like the documentation, what it really buys you is it makes it clear to the developers what you want them to do. For solo projects, probably better just focus on having like realistic expectations, because it's very like the amount of work. What is it? Grand Theft Auto 6 or something? I can't remember. It's the one that. Let's see. Didn't the last Grand Theft Auto release like over 10 years ago or something? And people are waiting on the next one. I've never actually played Grand Theft Auto, but like the game, I don't know, cost like hundreds of millions or $1 billion or something. It's a really GTA 5. Okay. So GTA 5, that's the next one to come out. How long ago did GTA 4 come out? And do you know the budget for GTA 5? Because if I remember correctly, it's like hundreds of millions. And the budget is hundreds of millions. 6 coming up next. Yeah, it's like it costs millions and millions of dollars to make a game for a reason, because there's a lot of work involved. So I think the best thing for a solo project is just like have realistic expectations. Like don't expect to pay your rent on it, and expect that the probability of like not making anything is very high. Good Lord, you need to play some games. I don't have time. I gotta make money. I wanted to. I remember hearing about Grand Theft Auto when I was in university. I was like, man, I am so exhausted from university. I'm gonna buy a big screen TV and just play Grand Theft Auto on it when I graduate. And then I never did. Okay, we got an open dialogue with hostname port URL. Played GTA Vice City for PSP 20 years ago. Yeah, I think realistic expectations and just having knowing that it's like, yeah, I don't know, the percentage of solo game projects. Like a lot of people just do game projects to learn how to make a game, or as a substrate for like learning how to program. I guess that needs a submit button. So if the scope of the project is just to learn how to program, that's one thing, but I honestly, to be honest, I'm not even a good person to ask about like how to go about like if your plan is like, okay, I'm gonna design a game, I'm gonna put it on Steam, I'm gonna make a bunch of money, and it's gonna be super popular. I'm not a good person to ask about that because I have no. I have never played a Steam game. I've never used Steam at all. Instead of vibe coding, we need vibe gaming. You can tell people where you beat a bunch of games and show them your achievements, but you don't even know how to play. Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. I mean, I could see an appeal like that on some level, because on some level it's just like it'd be like kind of watching a movie or something. I could see an appeal among like old people that way, where you just say like, ChatGPT, go and beat that boss. Figure out how to slay that dragon. I went to play to have a job. Play to have a job. Play games to have a job. I've used Steam a few times. Got Stardew Valley. See what the hype is about. AI is here to take the joy out of everything. Yeah, AI is going to be crazy. I'd mentioned in the past that I'd seen a handful of videos that I'd seen a handful of videos in the past where I was actually fooled for 8 seconds or something, and I thought it was real. But in the last month, I've started seeing videos on YouTube that are these talking head videos that are so good. There was this one video I watched it for 8 minutes, and I did not know it was AI. It was hyper specific information about the real estate market for the pre-sale condo market fiasco. It's going through collapse here in Canada. It was the pre-sale condo market collapse in Hamilton, Ontario. And it was this talking head guy coming up with all these like specific examples. And I watched 8 minutes of this video, and then I realized, like, wait a minute, his head bobs around, but I can't tell if this is AI or not. And then I tracked the channel, and I noticed like the person's head is in the exact same position in every video, and every single one has the same background. I was like, this is got to be AI. And I checked the comments, and a couple of people were like, yeah, this is AI. But so like I've also noticed on an increasing number of obviously AI videos, like the number of people complaining about AI is getting lower, and more people are like identifying with the characters. I saw this obviously AI generated video of this annoying Karen yells at someone's at a neighbor, and then this horn goes off, and then she gets scared away, and there's all these people serves her right for being a nosy neighbor and stuff. But it's like AI. There's a whole genre of people who just want recreational outrage. They want to go on the internet and get outraged at something, so they want to like they'll get outraged at these like AI Karen interactions that don't exist. Waiting for AI wife. They have AI waifus. Even the AI. For 3090s. I've been fooled for full minutes recently. Their channels impersonating famous analysts. Some look very good. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and not to sound arrogant, but like, of all the people who would be fooled, like I'm probably in this single digit percentage of like most able to tell AI from not AI. And so like we're already past the point of it being crazy. It's going to be what is actually I think the inflection point is the point where AI is so good that it can fool politicians. Because imagine we're going to go through an age soon where politicians are going to go on the internet and like look at information, and it's all going to be like fake AI stuff, and they won't be able to tell, and then they'll make like policy decisions based on a fabricated understanding of the world. John Teon says 9. Said things how well does engagement bait work before AI? There was already a lot of scripted fake stuff, not just the lowest level slop. Yep, the future is full of slop. They keep making AI videos. Amazon package takers too. Yeah, there's a. It actually seems like there's a. I think the data set has probably been trained on like 1 billion hours of like Ring camera footage, because all that Ring camera footage has to go somewhere. So I think it goes to a data center, and my guess is it's been added to like the models, because those like fake Ring camera videos, like they look really. They look very realistic. I think part of it's the perspective, because they're like a fisheye angle. It makes it like if the video is kind of distorted, it makes it hard to see. But I think it's also because they have a lot of training data for those ones, or for that perspective of a video. Okay, I think that has everything that's necessary. I can fix up the spacing, but that's good enough for now. And I think ideally I need to make a generic ability for scroll bars. But anyway, that's good for now. I think us millennials are better than most when detecting AI, because we pretty much grew up with the internet and seen all the Gen Z, not so much. Yeah, and I don't know, a lot of us too have played Diablo 2 and got scammed out of our equipment on Diablo 2, where we joined a channel. It said like free SOJs, free Storm Shield, and then we join it, and they'd be like, okay, I'll do a trade with you. Just like click the button really quick, and then they'd swap it out at the last minute and scam you. And ever since that day, you never fell for another scam. How do you deal with screen resize events? Good question. So, so to support that, I had to add a J&I library. So there's a C++, very small C++, piece of code here. So I made it generic, so it's been a while since I looked at this. I forget how it works. It's generic, so I can easily add more event support. So yeah, there's an event. Here we go. STD signal. So that's the C function that listens for the signal window change event. And so I think in the game I have a thread. In the game there's a thread that just calls this in a loop. And then I just I made this a JSON object just in case I don't know, have a different. I may add other types of events in the future, but so sig winch, and then so that is called through a J&I library. So this here is the J&I library that starts when the game starts up. It tries to launch the J&I library. Oh, and here's the native function for signal window change. And this is the Java thread that exclusively listens for those events. So all it does, just as while true, get a signal window change event. When there is an event, send a message to the console writer thread. On terminal window changed, and then this function sends so terminal changed, get the width and height, and then do stuff with it. Yes, so I'll demo that. Yes, it's totally responsive. UI. Which was that was a lot of work to implement that, but I made it work, and it works in the general case. So everything here is an independent frame. So even as I make this smaller, it'll do the word wrapping. Tries to do the best it can with the available space. Same thing with all the other frames too. They're all made to be able to respond dynamically. Making a terminal in cases based game in Java. It's impressive. Thank you. Yeah, actually, I have not had to use ncurses yet. Is this a game that can be played over SSH? It is being played over SSH. Right now I'm connected to my desktop computer over SSH. So it would not... You can SSH into another machine and play it. At the moment, it does not support playing... like I know there's games where you can play over Telnet. At the moment, it does not support. It would not support that because there's a few things that really not that much, but it has to obtain the terminal width and height, and let's see. I'd have to think. So there's a few things that might be snags. So one is getting the terminal width and height. For all these things, it would be possible to get it to work over Telnet, but you might have to specify and hard code some things. Like instead of, if you can't figure out the terminal width, just say like you specify the width. So which you already can do. And then there's cursor position reports, which actually that probably would work. Over Telnet. I think the one thing that wouldn't work is probably getting the terminal width and height, because if it was like being served, if the game itself was being served over a pipe or whatever, then there would be no attached standard in, and then I think that would fail. But of course it would be, you might need to like launch it with a special thing or something, or like assume that the user has a certain terminal width. But the number of assumptions and fixes you need to make would be quite limited. What's your LinkedIn? I have there should be a link. Should be a link on most of my videos, either on my channel page or somewhere to my LinkedIn and all the other sites. must be quite the rabbit hole. Support different terminals. It can be. Honestly, I actually have not given a lot of thought to supporting different terminals. So it's quite possible that this will break in some terminals. That's one of the main reasons you would use something like ncurses. I've made like I made sure to make it work on Ubuntu and Tmux, and there's a few older, so like the older version of Tmux, I think it doesn't work because I used Unicode characters, and it can't figure out. Some terminals have problems with printing the multi-column Unicode characters, but then you can also you can run it with the use ASCII flag, so it should work pretty universally in the ASCII version. And as you can see, my my form input also works and renders in pure ASCII. All right, that's I got pretty far on the new input form, so we'll call it a night. We'll be back tomorrow for day 272. All right, have a good night, guys.